Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Too Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. You know, we're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's IMDb.com, look up Too Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, IMDb.com, Too Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I am so excited today. I've got actress Kim Roberts with me. So welcome, Kim.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Michael.
It took us a couple tries, but here we are.
It did. You know, sometimes the best things take a couple tries, and then you get it right. Like my love life,
I was so excited to have you on that waiting an extra day was I'll say it was no problem. But
okay.
Also I was a little disappointed. I was ready.
I'm sorry. But you know what? I am so much more ready today. You would have had a frazzled me yesterday.
Yes. And we don't want frazzled Kim.
You got like all of me now, fully present, fully
all
here.
All right, very good. So okay, I want to hear about how you got into acting, but I've got a quick question before that. So
okay.
I've been watching you for years. You've been doing this for a little while, so I've been watching you for years. So I'm gonna give you a couple. You tell me which one was the early.
Which was
these are the ones that one of these is the first thing I've seen you in.
Okay.
And I'm not sure which one was the earliest. So see if you can tell. So here we go.
Okay.
So there was the Cheetah Girls movie, yes. Which my oldest, who she's got children of her own now, she spent most of her childhood pretending to be a Cheetah Girl. So
I love it.
Love the Cheetah Girls. She'd have her friends over and they'd all be dressed up and, to look like Cheetah Girls. And they spent, hours in the driveway dancing and singing. And so, okay. So that's one.
Okay.
Odyssey 5.
Wow. Okay.
I believe was Peter Weller, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
Tracker with Adrian Paul, who we've had Adrian on the podcast. So
okay, nice.
That could be it. And this is the one I think might be right. Doc. With I'm guessing is that the Doc with Billy Ray?
Ray Cyrus, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have stories for all of those, but I think you're right. I think Doc might have been the first. Was that 2001-ish or somewhere around there?
all of those I think were early 2000s,
Okay.
but I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. I think Odyssey 5 was around 2007, around 2007. And I did work with Peter Weller again when I shot The Strain. He directed me in an episode of
I
that.
didn't know he directed.
He did by then.
You were great in The Strain. The Strain
Oh,
was pretty creepy.
very creepy. And it was so much fun. I think that's like the most, I've never had the whole full makeup monster thing before. And that was really real.
Their
Yeah,
vampires were terrifying.
they were terrifying. Yep.
Good
It was
show.
pretty great. It was, thank you. And then Tracker and what was the other one you mentioned?
Cheetah Girls.
Well, yeah, Cheetah Girls. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary of Cheetah Girls just I guess a month and a half ago or
It's been
so.
20 years.
Been 20
Well, I guess
years.
it has. It was early. It's one of those things. I'm old enough now where the 90s seemed like it was yesterday.
Honestly,
And
they were.
it was 30 years ago.
Although I was, a child, of course, then. So
Of course.
of course. And then when I shot Doc, I met my cousin. I'm like a brand new cousin that I had never met before.
Were they also on Doc?
Yeah, he was on Doc. Richard Leacock. He's an actor.
Oh,
He played the cop. He played Billy Ray's best friend, the cop. And at lunch, he just came over to say hello, and he was visiting from Vancouver. And he said, "Well, actually, I'm from this small island no one's ever heard of. My father was from a small island called Dominica. I'm like, I'm from Dominica." He's like, "No." He told me his father's name. I'm like, "Oh, I'll ask my mom." And I went home. I was like, "Mom, do we know this guy named Steve Mello?" And she's like, "That's your cousin. Of course, you met him. It's like, I was like, "That's okay. That's how it goes."
That's kind of hilarious.
It was absolutely hilarious. So I called him later. I was like, "Hey, cuz." It's like, "Hey, cuz, what's up?" I mean, no, I mean that literally. You're my cousin.
I think it's funny that you had met and neither one of you remembered.
No, we hadn't met. I'd met his father.
Oh, okay.
I'd met his father.
Okay.
So yeah, when I told my mom his dad's name, her mom's like, "Yeah, you've met his dad. It's your cousin."
It never hurts to work with family.
It never hurts. It never hurts.
It gives you an ace in the hole.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, let me tell you my very quick Billy Ray Cyrus story.
Mm-hmm.
So when he was singing, I guess
Mm-hmm.
he still sings, but when that was his main thing was singing,
Yeah.
he had just come out. So Achy Breaky Heart he just released it, and he came through West Virginia on tour, and we went to see him. Well, he literally had just released Achy Breaky Heart. So that was basically the only song he had.
Mm-hmm.
So he sang that one. He sang Romeo, the one that he had done with Dolly Parton, but of course she wasn't there, so he sang it solo. And then he did like 5 or 6 other versions of Achy Breaky Heart.
Wow.
And the whole thing only lasted about an hour.
And it was fine, right? Everybody was really happy.
Oh my gosh, nobody cared. They had the best time because everybody loved that song so much. They got to, do it in like a country version, pop version, rock version. I've always thought he had a good voice, though.
And he's a lovely guy, he's just a sweet, sweet man. So
and I'm sure a proud father. His daughters have done pretty well.
Yes. Yeah. Your baby.
Well, so I got us off track, but let me back us up. Tell me a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business. Why'd you want to become an actress? Not an easy profession to go into.
Well, it's so funny. I don't know that I ever consciously chose it. I think it just kind of chose me. My mother always, talked about how growing up they used to put on plays within the family at night to entertain each other. And so I guess she was always theatrically inclined. So we would go see live theater. She always loved it. And then my cousins, we used to do the same thing. We'd put on plays every summer and at the end of the summer, we performed for our aunts and uncles, and we set up a little theater seating in the basement.
Well, let me ask you this. Was every cousin excited that you were putting on a play?
They had no choice.
See, I had cousins too growing up, and I was like brutally shy. And they always, my grandfather was a Baptist minister, so they always wanted to put on Christmas plays.
Oh, nice.
We celebrate Christmas at their house. They want to put on a Christmas play. Why? I couldn't do it. It was family. That's all that was there was family, and I could do it. So I was always the shepherd or
Well,
somebody that didn't have any speaking parts.
well, that's what I was going to say. There's always a role for the shy person. Like everybody had their department, And so, we were chronically cast. My cousin Jason and I were chronically cast as the leading lady in the leading band. But we had a few good runs. My cousin Nicole did some great things. My cousin Jackie would be in the background, but always be doing things.
And looking back on it, I'm so glad that I grew up that way. There's nothing better than family with that.
There's nothing better than family. There really isn't, yeah. And then in grade 2, I was approached by Lois Lilienstein, who belonged to the group Sharon, Lois, and Bram in later years. Okay. And she was with this woman named Louise, who had started this thing called the Friendship Circle. And they were taking 2 kids out of every grade, and we'd go around to other schools and perform these songs and dances. And we performed at the Mariposa Festival in Ontario. And I mean, I was just like 7 years old. So I was happy to be, singing and dancing and skipping school for a couple days a week. It was fine by me. And that's all it was, but it just like throughout my life, I do drama in school. I did a drama lab at age 12. And I was actually going to university to study politics, and I kind of veered and ended up in the theater stream and then left that to start acting. And so it just kind of kept coming my way.
Some would say that politics is mostly acting anyway.
Well, exactly. I was kind of doing Reagan backwards at the time,
Well, so did you always have, it sounds like it, but did you always have that kind of thought that you wanted to get into that at some point, or was it more just for fun?
Honestly, it was always that I loved it. It was always fun. So it was like the leading lady in my high school play, and my teacher sat me down and said, you should be applying to theater school. And I was like, no, I've already applied to, Western. I'm going to study politics. My mother wants me to be a doctor or lawyer. I have no choice. That's the And it was too late to apply anyway. But what happened is I didn't really like going to school that much in the mornings. So I missed some classes and needed extra credit. And there was this theater course that was being taught at York University in Toronto, close to home. Easy peasy, it was a 3rd-year course, but it would qualify as English credit for me. So I was like, that'll do it. And it just so happened that course was taught by the chair of the department, Ron Singer. And at the end of the class, he sat me down. He said, I think you could do this for a living. And I'd love to have you here at York. And I'd love to have you in our 2nd-year stream. And I said, no, thanks. I've got a great apartment at Western and a really good schedule. No school on Fridays, no mornings.
They keep knocking on the door. You kept saying no.
It kept coming. I went back to Western and again, didn't go to school much, but had the best year of my life. 3 amazing roommates, but 2 of which we bonded, like they're my brothers for life, and their kids are I'm auntie to everybody, like it's family, right? And at the end of that year, I was like, I think I need some credits. Can I come back to your school now? And he was like, I'm not even here anymore. I'm taking a sabbatical. You could talk to the new chair and see what he says. And they kind of were reluctant, but they put me in at first year. And I kept up my record of missing a lot of classes. And,
a lot of us went through college that way.
My gosh. It's just the morning thing, I was like, I became an actor, so I wouldn't have to do mornings. And they keep getting me up in the morning. So took a year off, paid off my student loans, went back to finish my poli-sci degree. And in that year, I ended up doing extracurricular theater that wasn't with the theater department, but that was with a different college at York. And it was a great show. And during that run, somebody that I'd been in theater with my first year called and said, come audition for this play. I'm stage managing. It's a professional theater company. They're touring Ontario, and I think you'd be great. It's like, no, I have to finish my degree. Only have a couple months left. And she said, do it for the experience. So I did. I got the job. And
and here you are.
Working ever since. So yeah.
It was meant to be. You just didn't know it.
Well, yeah, it really was. And that's, what's for you is for you. And I always say you should do something that you absolutely love and would do for free, because then you're not really working a day in your life. And it's true. I've been lucky to keep working, but the easiest part of my job is actually the acting. It's everything else that comes with the business side and the paperwork side and all the other things that are involved with being your own boss or having your own business are the things that are crazy. But the acting is always so much fun.
Because you're comfortable there.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. So I have entered the grandparent stage in my life. I've got 5. It's the best. They're all really little, but they're all into Paw Patrol.
Well, you're gonna score some points tonight.
Yeah, I totally did because I told him, I was like, I'm talking to the mayor. Talking to the mayor today. So of course what they said was, well, can we meet her? But they don't want to, they want the cartoon you.
I actually, I get this a lot from parents and grandparents. I don't know if I'm contractually allowed to do the voice outside of the studio.
Well, you probably can't right now.
I know there are a lot of things I can't do, and that's one of the ones that I should find out about, because I get asked all the time. But I would be happy to meet them as myself. I don't know if it'll.
Oh, they're going to watch. They'll see you. But they're in various stages. The older ones, and the oldest one's only 4, but they've got the point. They understand. Okay, somebody's voicing the cartoons. That's not real,
right?
The younger ones, they haven't got to that point yet. They just
it's like,
that's real.
What do you mean? They're right there. No, I agree. I didn't
when you took that role. Did you have any idea how big a thing Paw Patrol was? I mean, that's the thing for kids. Well, it's Paw Patrol and Bluey. They're all right now.
Yes. Well, I don't have children of my own. I have nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, I think, until afterwards that I really started to appreciate the magnitude of Paw Patrol and its presence in the world. And I mean, I'm so honored to be able to play this iconic character.
It's like a universe now. They've got all these spin-offs and movies.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm in Rubble and Crew as well, which is one of the spin-offs. Yeah. I've got my sister Mayor Greatway, who runs the town there. And that's a lot of fun.
It's not bad. I get a little worn out, because they want to watch it all the time. But then if we're in the car or something, they want to listen to the music. Paw Patrol all day, I guess. Paw Patrol has made me miss the Cheetah Girl days.
I'm just glad I can be a part of your life,
Although I will say that at least now, like when my oldest, she grew up in the 90s, everything was on cassette tape. So you didn't have all these episodes where at least there was some variety. You watched the same episode, and at that time she was watching Barney. We watched that tape just over and over and over and over. So at least we're not doing that anymore.
There you go. That's rewind. Wait.
I'm like, oh.
Oh man,
that's pretty great. That's pretty great. I didn't see this one, but I think I saw that you were in Glitter.
I was in Glitter. I was,
which I think is probably Mariah's. That's her only movie, I think.
As far as I know, it is. Yeah. It was definitely her debut. Yeah. And that was great. I got to meet her, got to hang out with her and Deborah and Bondi Curtis Hall, who was amazing. Not
a terrible experience.
Phenomenal director. It was a great experience. Yeah.
Did you get to sing?
No. I got to work with the child actor who played Mariah. I was in the opening scene when she was much younger. So no, there was no singing for me. But I got to hear it.
Could you have sang?
Of course I could have sang.
Okay. I assumed you could because I knew you danced. I assumed you sang too.
I should have had my own track on the album. It should have.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
I agree.
You're on the show or the movie.
Well, hopefully that's coming. It's funny. I've been writing my own songs all my life. And, there's an opus in me waiting to be written one day. And I will put my music in it when it happens.
Well, everybody's just releasing on Spotify now.
That's true.
Write your songs, put them out there.
That's true. The Drake mixtape didn't work out so bad.
Yeah. I mean, you never know.
Never know.
It's the music industry is interesting, I think, because you've got just some amazing talents, just amazing voices. But then you've also got people that they really can't sing. It's just, but they're a good presence. They're more of an entertainer, and they can manipulate the music enough and stuff, so it sounds like they can sing.
Right.
Can't.
It's not really a Milli Vanilli situation. They're just auto-tuning. Is that what it is?
Oh, poor Milli Vanilli. Vanilla. If they could have, if they could have just waited 15, 20 years, it wasn't that big a deal to lip sync.
So true. So
you know,
true.
they just at that time, that was everybody.
Not good.
Oh, you can't lip sync. Well, everybody was lip syncing at different times.
It's true. We just didn't know it.
I always remember the was it Ashley Simpson when she did Saturday Night Live, and she was lip syncing one of her songs.
Really?
But the
sync was off.
The track was off. And so she was just kind of like, I'm like, that's terrible.
Oh man.
I was like, well, that stuff happens, but now it's not a big deal because we all kind of understand
how it works.
At some point they sang it.
Yeah.
Are you in a Christmas movie this year?
I sure am.
What's this one called?
It's called Catch Me If You Claus, and
I like that.
It's really good. It's a really good one. It's on the Hallmark Channel. I think it premieres November 23rd, a couple weeks from now, and it's also on CTV Life in Canada on the 25th, so just a couple days afterwards. And it's a very, very smart premise, and the stars of the show are just really, really good. Very funny. It was one of the nicer ones to do. I think I'm excited to see it.
Are you one that, like, when do you start celebrating Christmas? Is it after Thanksgiving? Is it after Halloween? When?
I just got my tires changed at Costco today, and I picked up 4 new Christmas baskets. Okay. So I think I've started.
You started.
I've started because, part of the ritual is you buy one for them and you buy one for you because it's not going to make it to December. One of those Ghirardelli chalk. Oh my gosh, it looks so good.
You can't just sit there.
You can't sit there.
It's not going to happen.
You got to taste test and figure out what the best gifts are so that you hand them to the right people, right? So that ritual has begun. Thanksgiving for us is past. Our Thanksgiving is in October.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
it's like clear sailing to Christmas now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Our family, we've got several that day after Thanksgiving, they start watching Christmas movies, and they don't stop until like January.
Well, I've been making them, so I'm glad somebody's watching them.
You've got a bunch with that, and I may have seen others, but I know I saw Christmas Dance Reunion.
Oh, that was a wonderful one. Corbin Bleu and Monique Coleman, my sweethearts.
You were Virginia.
I was Virginia. Yeah. And I played against Roy Lewis, who is an old friend. We started a theater company together many years back, Obsidian Theater Company here in Toronto. It was born right in my house, actually.
That was one that I got caught. I was wandering through. My wife was watching it and stuff, and I wandered through a few times. And every time I'd stop for a second and watch, and and then at some point I just sat down and watched.
That's good. That's excellent. We did our job. We pulled you in.
It was good. I mean, Christmas movies most of the time are pretty good as long as you go into them knowing what you're getting.
Yeah.
Because they're all kind of, they've got a formula, and most of the time they have a happy ending, which that's the way. I used to be like I would say, why do we always have to have a happy ending? Why can't it? Because life isn't like that. It doesn't always have. Why can't we have it? Well, then at some point we stopped having any happy endings. It was all kind of that bittersweet endings, or you did. And then I was like, I kind of miss the happy endings. Well, Christmas movies, there's your happy endings. It's going to end well.
Yes.
And it's kind of nice. You can just sit and relax, it's a little, there's some shenanigans going on, but at the end, everybody's going to be happy.
It's going to work out. As it should. I mean, shouldn't love always work out in the end?
Yes.
It should. It really should.
As you get older, at least with me, all I want is for everybody to be happy.
Yeah.
Let's just eliminate all the stress. Just everybody be happy.
It just makes things easier, doesn't it?
It does.
If everybody's happy, there's no problem.
There's no problem.
Yeah.
It makes social media very boring, though.
How so?
Well, because if everybody's happy, you wouldn't have any drama to.
Oh gosh, I don't even understand how drama gets on social media.
I don't either. I'm just on there sharing my pictures. Here's what I'm eating.
Yeah. Exactly. My
I don't want to
scrambled
cause
eggs
any
look
problems.
amazing.
If I comment on something, it's always positive.
Me too.
If I have a negative opinion, I'm not commenting on it.
Exactly.
Keep that to myself. Nobody wants that. You got to do a couple episodes on Shelved,
Yeah.
which is it's a library show that they show in Canada, which it infuriates me that they're not showing it in the States yet.
I know.
But I'm dying to see it. My son Brett, that does the podcast with me, he does the editing, all the hard stuff. He's a librarian. Right?
Okay.
So we're really wanting to watch that, and we had Taylor Love that has been on the podcast before.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it sounded like a great show.
It's a great show. It is such a good show. Anthony Farrell, one of the co-creators, was a writer on The Office, so it's got that dry humor to it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I was like,
and Jay is amazing. Like they're all fantastic. Like it's such a pleasure to work on the show. The actors, the talent is enormous. Every single person
You've
like
got good TV in Canada. We need to get it over here.
I know. It could be another Schitt's Creek. Honestly, it's like it's that special, or it's got its own stamp. And so
we
I'm
got
hoping
Schitt's Creek, Kim's Convenience. That's about all that's come over.
Yeah,
and you're right there.
Yeah, we're right here. It's so true. It's so true. We just need a big station to buy it up. They're kind of busy right now.
I guess they got some stuff going on.
So they got some stuff to work out. They need to start paying us actors a little bit better. So,
well, not to get into it too much, but you need to make sure that the people that are actually in the stuff you're putting out there can survive.
And
they need to make a livable wage. I get it.
Saying.
Your top, 0.5%.
Thank you.
Fine. But the rest of us struggle.
And real public doesn't understand that. People think that actors make all this money. They see me in all these shows and they think my family thinks I'm rich. I had to break it down. I was like, look, I've never made more than $80,000 in any given year of my career.
You go.
Right. And that's a top earning actor. I've had 17,000 in my lowest years, and most years it's somewhere in between.
Well, it's not like living in a city is cheap. That's not that much money.
It's not that much money. And I work, so people need to understand that it's not what they think it is, and that it really is 0.5% that makes those millions. And if you look at that 0.5%, they don't really look like me, I
don't look like me either, so I get it.
Yeah, they kind of do. Is my point.
Well, okay, yeah, fair.
You know what I'm saying,
that's
right?
Fair.
So
yeah,
it's time that it opens up, and beyond that, it's like how in the States, I saw a statistic that 97% of the actors cannot afford healthcare because you need to make $27,000 a year to afford healthcare.
That is shocking when you hear that statistic.
But that's probably very similar to Canada as well.
Yeah,
I don't know how many people have. I mean, we have universal healthcare here, but the extended benefits that you get as an actor, I know a lot of the union members don't make enough to even qualify for them. So that's just ridiculous, and it's not fair, especially when you see that millions and millions of dollars.
There's plenty of money.
There's money, so it'd be nice to see some of it.
Maybe don't spend hundreds of $1 millions on the advertising. Only spend like a couple $100 million and pay your actors.
Share a little more. Who needs all of that? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. It seems it seems silly that it came to a strike. Let's just get it so everybody's okay. And the AI stuff is something they have to figure out too, because obviously, I don't care how many times you use somebody's image, you should have to pay for it every time.
Yeah. I
mean, that's just a no-brainer.
Well, I agree. But you have to value people, and you have to value the creative contribution that we make as individuals and what we bring to this work and to this craft. If you're going to look at it like it's just a business and you're trying to maximize your profits and minimize your output, then you're going to turn to every cheap trick that's out there. But you're going to lose something along the way. You're going to use the heart and the soul of what storytelling is, of what this craft is, because it really does come from people,
That's right.
So you have to value that as a commodity. And it's never, traditionally, artists have never been valued, Think back to Michelangelo, and he had to be, sponsored by the Medicis. Like, artists always have to be sponsored in order to live, and that's not really right. We consume so much that's created by the artist, you know, and these characters, they're on the page, they're written out of the mind of a writer, they're brought to life out of the mind of an actor and the life experiences of an actor, you know. And I think all of these things, I know that, you know, we live for it, we spend our lives dedicated to it, and it's really time to value what we do and to compensate us for what we do, at least fairly. You know, I used to say that I make about as much as a teacher makes, until I learned how much teachers make. They're rich compared to me. Like, I literally had no idea.
I'm laughing, but that's
right?
That's embarrassing that's
the case. I really had no, I just figured, it's probably up hard, but it's not. Like, you know, it's
well, and we always talk about how underpaid teachers are.
Exactly.
That should give you an idea with what actors. I mean, the majority of actors I talk to have a second job or a side gig.
Most definitely. Right now, I have friends who are top actors in the States who are driving for Uber, delivering pizzas, because they got to pay their bills.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I used to have a second job for the first 10 years of my career, a weekend job, you know. I mean, most actors' average salary in Canada, it's about between 30 and 40,000 a year. And that's what I made for most of my career until I got a really good agent, you know, and things have gotten better. But
I mean, that's not much.
That's not, you know, people don't believe me, which is why I'm actually saying it out loud. You know, I mean, you can't talk about what you make on individual projects, but I can say that in general.
Yeah, I'm glad you are, because we talk about that a lot, but just to break it down like that, I mean, that's nothing. No, that's you would make that working at a fast food restaurant.
Probably, if you worked a lot.
You'd have to work full time, but you'd
have to work full time. But yeah, and that's just what it is. I remember Viola Davis when she won her Oscar for what was it, Doubt? And then she did an interview. She says, "I just wish my bank account could catch up now," you know. And I said, "Thank you for speaking truth," because people are thinking, "Oh, she's saying, I have this Oscar. I have." All of a sudden, people think, "But I'm not rich. I'm still in debt. I still need," you know. And yeah. So, and for most actors, that is the story, and it's not fair.
It's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. And I mentioned Kim's Convenience. You had an appearance on there.
I did. I got to play with my friends, Jean Yoon and Paul, our old friends.
That is a good show.
It's such a great show. So it was really fun to do a little guest spot on that.
So let me see. There was another one I wanted to bring up. Dawn of the Dead. Yeah. That's not terrible.
No,
that you got to be on that one. And if I remember, I remember saw it at the theater because I was a big fan, you know, zombie stuff. Now there's so much zombie stuff out there, but back then there wasn't. But you played Cora.
I did. Cora was a lot of fun. Got to work with Sarah Polley and Zack Snyder. Love Zack Snyder. And my claim to fame is that all of these horror movies, I've been in Saw 3, Saw 4, Stir of Echoes, Dawn of the Dead.
You played the same character in those two, didn't you?
In Saw 3 and 4, yes, the same, Deborah. But my claim to fame is I never die. I'm the one sister who never dies. You know how, you know, Black people usually get killed first. Well, not me. At least not on screen.
How have you avoided that fate?
I don't know, but I'm truly claiming it as a claim to fame. In all of these horror movies, you don't see me die. I could be.
That needs to be a thing. You should just refuse roles if you die.
Well, at this point, I think it has to be that. It's just that's the way it is. I plan a Comic-Con career at the end of this being the one, you know, one character who never died in any of these movies.
I will come to your booth.
Good.
I had this idea. I couldn't act. I there's no way. But if I was, my idea is that I want to be the first person killed in every acting job I have. So that on my, IMDb, it just says, the body or dead body or all the way down. That's all. That would be my thing. I don't even need speaking parts.
Why? I'm just curious.
That's the question is why, but I don't know. There's part of me that thinks, okay, that would be kind of cool.
I think you just like playing that shrub so much that you just kind of figure dead body and shrub equal.
That's probably it. I'm like, I'm just trying to get back in touch with my childhood.
Give me the easiest role. Dead body. Got it.
Yeah.
Dead body's not so easy though. You can't move, you can't blink, you can't twitch.
That's true.
You can't breathe even. You've got to hold your breath.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm guessing I would fidget.
I had to play a dead body in a recent film that I shot. And oh boy,
Well, I
we
know
were
it wasn't a
out,
horror film.
it wasn't a horror film, but it's maybe a little bit, but we're up in North Bay, cottage territory. And they
Yeah.
had spread this big tarpaulin on the ground, so we're kind of dead on that. But the minute we stopped, oh, and the other thing is that we had this blood all over us, and the blood is made of corn syrup. So it's a little
Oh,
sweet. So all the bugs in North Bay
yes. They were
found,
they found you, didn't they?
and the thing is, you're dead, so you can't move, you can't blink, you can't twitch. But there are
It probably
things
never
like,
occurred to you to put bug spray on, I'm guessing.
oh, we had all the bug spray in the world. Didn't help.
Okay.
They were zinging, and then at one point something crawled into my ear,
Oh, no, no,
but
no.
I was dead and could not. So it was the worst, one of the worst experiences
That sounds
of
awful.
my entire
It
career.
sounds like a horror movie.
It felt like a horror movie. It was bad. That's commitment to the craft.
Yeah, that's commitment. Yes, I don't know. Now you've made me think. Okay, there's one. I'm just gonna mark that one off. He looks really good as the dead body, but he won't stop moving.
Won't stop moving. He's not getting the essence of the role.
Yeah, maybe I better be a zombie. I probably wouldn't have to talk then. I could just kind of grunt or, and kind of. I'd have to be one that was just more of the slow moving zombies, because then I could take my time, kind of lumber around. I could just walk normal and I'd probably look lumbering. So there we go.
There's something for everyone in this craft.
Loved you on Killjoys. Loved you on The Sinner. You were on both of those. You pop up on a ton of stuff. Handmaiden's Tale, right? Yeah. Not terrible.
That was amazing.
That's such a great show.
Oh, it was one of my best experiences, The cast bonded so well in that. We were driving around for days in this little bus, and O.T. Fag Bentley, who plays the husband on the show, it was his episode. And so we found him, we picked him up, and we were with him for a while. And it's just, he's a beautiful, warm, and hilarious person. And he just set the tone, and the atmosphere just, friends for life. It was a great time. Yeah.
That's awesome. And weren't you on Schitt's Creek?
I was on Schitt's Creek, yes. I'm Roland.
Remind me who you played.
I played Marnie, who was Roland's high school sweetheart.
Oh, that's right.
Right. I work at the unemployment office when Johnny Rose comes in to get some money.
Yeah, that was oh my gosh, that was such a funny scene.
It was
because he's needing a loan.
Well, not a loan. He wanted unemployment.
Right. That's right. He's needing money.
He needed money. And, I gave him quite a hard time until Roland kind of steps in. And then I realized, this is a friend of a friend. And Roland is obviously someone she still cares for quite deeply. So,
well, yeah, because it wasn't going good for Johnny till Roland.
It wasn't going good for Johnny. So Roland really helped him out,
Oh my gosh. I love that. We were really late to Schitt's Creek. I tried it. Like when it first came out, I tried it. And I was like, these people are terrible. This is any good. And so I gave up. I only watched a little bit of the first episode. Well, I kept hearing about it. I was like, okay, we're going to try it. We're going to try it. And same thing, first episode, I'm like, these people are terrible. But then by the end of the second episode, I was like, I love these people. Now I think we've watched it twice through.
I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. One of the best comedies, I think, ever.
It really is. It really is.
So well done. And so well acted.
And just good people. It was so much fun to work with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I completely forgot that. But that's one of my favorite episodes because it's so uncomfortable. Poor Johnny.
I enjoyed working with both of them. It was just, there was a moment while we were shooting that I literally stopped and watched them. I was like, I am watching comedic genius right now. Like I'm in the room with
Chris Elliott's hilarious.
Oh, he's phenomenal. It was working off him was a dream. He was just
I remember watching him. He used to do skits on David Letterman. And I'd watched him on there and thought he was just hilarious, but I'd never seen him in anything else. And now he's such an accomplished actor. He's funny.
He's very funny.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Do you have a role that's your favorite that you've done?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. There've been a lot. There've been so many, and
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm looking at your stuff. It's impressive. You've been on a ton of stuff.
thank you. And I mean, I'm a theater actor as well, so some of my favorite roles are probably more the theater roles. I'm actually starting a new play at Stratford Festival, at the Stratford Festival in Ontario.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm joining the season. It's just been announced today. And I'll be joining the 2024 company and doing a new play called Get That Hope, which is a great play. And I'll be playing Margaret White, who is a great character. She might be my favorite right now. Just
really?
because, yeah, well, I'm getting to know Margaret.
Because you're
She's so
into it
much
now.
fun. Hmm?
You're into it right now. You're learning it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she's something else. She's feisty, she's funny, and she's got a lot of sides to her. So right now I'm kind of in love with Margaret, but it's just like that with almost every character I
Yeah.
play. When I'm in it, I'm quite loving it. I love Neeva on the strain. I love, there's an Auntie and Remember that was a lot of fun. There've been some good ones.
Yeah. Yeah. You've had some really good characters. I think a lot of actors uh, would say that about theater.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
is it the connection with the audience? Is that the fact that everybody's right there and you can kind of feel the emotion and stuff going? Is that why you like theater so much?
Definitely, but I think also just because there's more time and
Yeah.
you dive really deep when you're doing theater. Like right now, we're workshopping a play that we're not performing until next August.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm already starting to think about things. And then when you come into the rehearsal process, you really break things down, you disseminate what's going on, and you really dive into the character. So you get to really get under the skin in a way that in film you do that work, but you do that on your own. And you
Right.
kind of come into a room and meet a bunch of other people who've done it on their own. Whereas in theater, you're doing it together, you're learning, you're creating,
I'd like that.
it is a different experience, and it's really it's very satisfying.
That's a commitment, though. Like you're working on it a full year
Yeah,
before you're actually performing it. That's a commitment.
yeah.
And it's not like you're doing one performance and you're done.
No, we'll be performing for a few months, but I mean, it was a week-long workshop, so then we start rehearsals again in June.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
that's not as bad. That's
no,
not as
it's
bad.
not.
Yeah, but that's a long way off.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exciting though.
it
That's pretty
is.
good. Did you do? I'm assuming you did theater when you were kind of starting to get into to act.
Yes. Well, I started touring with that theater company,
Yeah,
a couple of sirens, and I worked with them for about 3 years, and then I actually I did a commercial, which was my first on camera experience, and it was a commercial for Benylin cough syrup. I don't know if you have Benylin in the States, but at the time I made history because it was the first time a Black woman had ever spoken on a Canadian national commercial.
that
So
is terrible.
it
It's
is terrible.
awesome that
That's
you broke that
right.
barrier, but that's terrible that it took that long.
And it was like 1994, 29 years ago, not that long ago.
It's
But
like we
yeah,
said, the '90s were, like yesterday.
it's so true. They really were. They were good years. But yeah, so that was it. And people used to, long after I moved on from commercials and was doing more television and film work, but people would introduce me and be like, "She does commercials." And I'd be like, "I do other things." And I never realized why. But it's because that commercial was the first time anybody had seen a sister talking, and so they remembered it, and it really made an impression, especially on my friends' parents, because they'd
Yeah.
always they'd remember it. And I'd be like, why do they remember that? So when I found that out, I was like, wow, okay, that's cool.
I mean, you'd think a commercial is kind of a small deal, but that one wasn't. That was a big
No,
deal
it was a big
because
deal.
you were like a pioneer.
A little bit.
I think that's cool. That's what we need to be doing is figuring out where those ceilings and those
Yeah,
walls are and break them down.
I agree. There's room for everybody.
Heck yeah, there is, which is surprising. There's like 10 billion of us or something.
You know?
At some point, there's not going to be room for everybody.
There's Mars now. There's the moon. We've already solved that problem.
Oh yeah, we're leaving. At some point, we're out of here. Is there a genre that you haven't got to do that you would like to try?
I would love to have my own Hallmark movie. I always get to play the fairy godmother, the best friend, the sister. I want my
Well,
romance.
how about a Hallmark series? You could be like
Even
a
better.
detective or something.
I want to be the lady. I want like the guy. I can be a detective who gets the guy, but I want my own love story. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
We're if they don't cast you, we're gonna have to write it.
You know where to find me. You know the formula.
Well, detectives need love too. There's no
Detectives
reason
need
we
love
can't
too.
solve a mystery and find love.
I like it. I like it. I think you've got a premise there. I think you got something, Mike.
Anything else you want to try that you haven't got to do, we'll throw that in there too.
Oh, well, why don't we make her a detective who sings, and that way I'll get to do both of those things.
Oh, I like this singing detective.
We have a title and everything. What?
I think it's ready.
We better copyright it quick.
We just need a pitch deck, and we're ready to go.
A pitch deck, yes, especially because she's a singing detective, so your pitch is important.
Yeah, I'm giving this stuff away for free because I'm hoping that you'll give me my first chance to play the dead body. You know, I could be the mystery.
Absolutely sold. You're in. You're it. You got it. You are the first dead body.
The first one. It just open on me. I'm dead.
Perfect.
That's it. I'm done. My work's done.
As long as we don't shoot North Bay with them flies buzzing around your head, you're gonna have some problems.
No. I need to be indoors.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe a library. I could be.
Oh, that could work. Yeah. Maybe you could even like get some of the cast of Shelves come, and
there you go.
Cross story somehow.
I'm willing to travel. I will come to Canada.
Okay. Well, you'd have to because there's no actors in the States right now. Everybody's on strike. So if we do it
I was in LA, let's see, in September. Mm-hmm. And I had intended, I got a lot of actor friends out there, and I had intended to go and support them on the picket lines. And it was 110 degrees. And I was like, I like you, but that's too hot. I'm going to have to support you from, my hotel room. Probably poolside.
But your heart was in the.
My heart was there, though.
I appreciate the solidarity. I'm sure they did too.
That 110 degrees on asphalt, though, that's crazy.
That's just wrong. I agree.
That's just wrong. Maybe if I was an actor, I'd be like, it's worth it.
Well, if you want
a friend of an actor, I wasn't committed enough.
Being that dead body takes commitment, so you might have to read that.
You may have to I may have to do some soul searching to see if that's really what I want to do. Mm-hmm. I can podcast anywhere thanks to Zoom.
This is true.
But maybe I found my lane. I just need to stop. My stepson said to mention that because I always play that game with the kids, here's who I'm talking to. What have you seen them in? Nice. He's got his own family now, got 2 kids of his own, and but he's got Asperger's. And he's very highly functioning, but he loves that show, The Good Doctor. That's his show. Oh. And he said you were great on there. He said you did an episode of that. That's what he knew you from. That's his favorite show.
I loved shooting that show. Oh, they were so great. Freddie is beautiful, lovely to work with. All the Chuku, Bria Simone, like they were just phenomenal. It was a great time.
It's a good show.
It's a good show.
It's hard to make, I think, a good doctor show or police show because there's so many of them. Mm-hmm. And they did it. They figured it out.
True. People love this show.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. Well, Kim, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. I could talk to you and go through your entire catalog, but I won't do that. Maybe for part 2.
Okay, anytime.
Yeah, you got to come back.
I would love to.
I got to stay connected with you because I have this feeling at some point you're going to be the key to me being a dead body.
I think the singing detective has a real shot. I think you need to start working on that formulaic writing and send me something. Let's do it.
Okay. Actually, it's Brett that's the writer in the family.
Okay, Brett,
I'm going to give him the idea and be like, all right, here you go. The murder needs to take place in the library. And it's a love story.
It's a love story.
Murder secondary. That's not the main story.
That's right. And the detective sings somehow.
And the detective sings, just so
Yeah.
you know.
Just so you know.
I think we got a hit on our hands.
I like it. I would watch that.
I totally would. So a couple things, Kim, before we wrap up. I think we've covered it, but is there anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
Oh gosh. Let me see. Well, I'm in the Changeling right now on Apple TV.
Yeah,
So if you want to peek
that's so good that we're enjoying that.
there you go. Oh, I'm glad. Okay, well, I play Alice. I'm in episode 3. What else is happening? The Christmas movie I told you about. There's another movie called All the Lost Ones that'll be coming out, I think, on Paramount at some point in time.
I remember you in Lost Girl.
Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I don't remember much about it because it's been so long, but
Uh-huh.
I'm a sci-fi type of guy, so I know a
Like
lot.
the vampires.
Yeah, and the vampires too. Yeah.
Yeah. Anna Silk, yeah, she was great. Working with her was a lot of fun. It's been a good career, I'm just grateful for all that I've done, and I look forward to the opportunities to come.
I know you're just getting started. Now we're ready for the star vehicles.
I'm ready for the star vehicles, and I'm ready for like that top 0.5% of the money too. I'm striving for that.
See, you've got a much tougher path. See, I'm just trying to, they don't even need to pay me. I'm just trying to boost up the IMDb page.
Well, don't say it like that. They do have to pay you. We've had this conversation.
I'll have to get an agent or something to handle because I'll screw it up. I'll be like, don't worry about it. I'll just do it.
Did we not have this conversation about valuing the art that you're going to bring to this dead body?
Yes, I've already.
Your interpretation of dead could be like the defining standard from here on out, for all we know.
That's what I want, because I want the creators to be sitting there and be like, we need the dead guy.
We need the dead guy. I've never seen dead done so good. Be
like, nobody knows his name. It's only listed as dead guy.
Previous role Scrubs. I mean,
oh shoot. Okay, so last thing, Kim. Where can we find you on social media?
Well, I am on Instagram at Ms. Kim Roberts. That's MS Kim Kim Roberts. What's that?
Very classy.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah. I'm on Facebook. I have a fan page under Kim Roberts. If you look at pages,
very nice. Yeah,
find me. I think I'm on Twitter, Kim Roberts 1, or I guess it's X now. I'm on Threads.
We all have Twitter or X because we want to check out what's going on. Not necessarily so we can post, but we have to keep up with all the.
You have to keep up with where the negativity is, right? So I'm there. I'm on Threads as Ms. Kim Roberts as well, and I'm on.
Well, good for you. That's the new one, right?
Threads? That's the new one. I still haven't figured out what to do there, but I'm working on it. So I'm just reposting
TikTok. Are you on TikTok yet?
Not yet. I probably should be.
You would be good on TikTok.
It's that whole privacy thing that I'm like, yeah. But yeah, maybe it's time.
You could do skits about the singing detective just to get some eyes on, and then maybe somebody sees it and they'll be like, we need to turn that into a show or a movie.
Well, there you go. Well, we don't want to give away our idea, though. We're going to develop it, aren't we?
Well, like I said, I'm willing to give it away. I have one demand.
Dead body number 1.
Dead body number 1.
I know. I got you. All right. I'll start developing it and we'll talk.
Well, thank you so much, Kim, for doing this. And please do anytime. Come back. We'd love to talk to you again.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a blast. Okay, hold on one second.
Okay.
The fabulous Kim Roberts. Absolutely loved speaking with her today. I'm a big fan. I hope you enjoyed that interview. And I tried to touch on a lot of the work that she's done. It's a long list. She's probably been in half a dozen Christmas movies. But let me run through some of the things we didn't talk about. She mentioned Saul, so that was good. She was in Blues Brothers 2000 as a dancer, which I think is amazing. She's in the Changeling, which is on Apple right now. The Good Doctor we talked about. Working Moms, she played Maggie in a couple episodes. We didn't talk about that, but we've had Nikki Duvall and some of the main cast from Working Moms on the show, so that's awesome that she was on there for a few. She did Digstown, which our good friend Natasha Henstridge was also in, but she did several of those episodes, and that one, I think that may have been a Facebook production, if I'm remembering right. We mentioned the center, talked about Killjoy. She did Regina, voiced Regina in Cloudy with Chance of Meatballs, the series, when my stepson Sean, was growing up, and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, the movie, came out. That was one of his favorite movies. So that's cool that she was on the series. We talked about Handmaid's Tale, Schitt's Creek, The Strain. She had a little or maybe a couple of parts in Rookie Blue. She was on Suits. We talked about Lost Girl. She was on Blue Bloods. Warehouse 13 is one that I always loved. She was a tour guide for the Smithsonian, I believe, on there. She did episode of or maybe several episodes of Degrassi, The Next Generation. She was Mrs. Smith. And I think that may be everything that I had written down. It's an impressive resume. So if you don't know Kim, check out some of her work. It's really good. The Christmas movie coming out this year, Catch Me If You Claus, which love the that's the best part about Christmas movies, is the titles that they come up with. They're hilarious. Thank you guys for tuning in again this week. I'm in a revved up mood today, which could be good, could be bad. You'll have to let me know, if I was too much today, but I'm feeling pretty good. The podcast has finally gotten to we've been doing this for 5 years. We finally reached the point where I could quit my second job. Some would say that was my main job. I've always considered that as my side job, but most of I spend my days in a local hospital system working with patients. I've done that for years now, but the podcast has done so well, thank you, that's all because of you, that I was able to step away from that at the end of last week. So that probably has something to do with my good mood. I now can dedicate, even more time to this podcast, which I absolutely love. This is not work for me. Kim was talking about acting not really feeling like a job to her because she loves to act. It's all the stuff that comes with it that's more of the job. Same with podcasting. I love talking with people. The hard part is the prep, the scheduling, the editing, which I don't have to do. Brett takes care of that. But the actual podcasting, I love it. And thanks to all of you, we're doing well enough that I can step away from the other work. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, we talked about it several times on here, recently named us a top 100 podcast. That's a big deal because there's 15 million and counting podcasts out there. To hit a top 100 list, really big deal for a little podcast father and son team. So really thrilled of that or about that. If you'd like to help us, that's an easy way to do it. It's go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast. That's all you got to do. Just bringing the page up actually helps us out, and it's free. You can also, if you prefer to watch, you can go to our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free. That really helps us out, that subscription. So please do that for us if you can. You can also find all audio and video episodes on our website, meistercon.com. We're closing in on 700 episodes, which is pretty high volume. But you can find all those on meistercon.com. It'll also let you know if we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, if Kim's working a convention and we're covering it, that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream. moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. You know, not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. You know, those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, you know, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.